Hi friends, and welcome to week 5. You have made it through a solid chunk of this course. You are rocking it every step of the way, and I'm incredibly proud to see the great work that you've done. I warned you it was coming. It's time to pick up the pace, and we are going to do just that this week. This week we're going to look at identity, something that sits kind of at the center of our understandings of intercultural communication. Identity is a very robust concept. It's something that people spend their entire lives studying, and we're only going to touch the fringes of it this week. But as you read chapter 4, which is your assigned reading this week, think about your identity. What makes you, who you are? And we will find as you're reading that often there are things that we have, that we possess as part of our identity, that we may not even think about, may be so blind to us, even though they are part of who we are. You know, there's an idea that when we think of sexuality, we think of being gay. But if you're a straight person, you have a sexuality as well. We tend to think if you have a gender, the thing we think of in our head is women, but men have a gender too. We think of race. We think of people with black skin or people with different colored skin, not white, but white people have a race too. So don't erase yourself because there's a lot of meaning to be had in that identity that you have. As you focus on identity this week, I want you to think about intersectional identities, right? You're not just a straight person or a religious person or a person of color or a person of different immigration status. No, those things all work together. Who you are is kind of this hodgepodge of different things that compete. And you're also, in addition to reading chapter 4 this week, going to focus on a big term that's often hotly contested that you may have like a weird feeling about because it's hard to understand, and that term is privilege. What does it mean to be privileged? We'll find that we're typically all privileged in some way and then not privileged in other ways. And having privilege doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a terrible person at all. It just means you have an opportunity in your hands to create change around you. So I want you to think this week for Photo Voice. Are you privileged? How? Why or why not? That's going to be the big prompt that you answer. And I want you to really be honest with yourself. Be honest. Are you privileged? What areas of privilege do you have? And move past the is privilege good or is privilege bad. We're not even going to talk about that. Let's just talk about, do we have it? And if we do, what do we do with it? In addition to reading this week and doing your initial Photo Voice by Wednesday and your responses, 3 of them, by Sunday, you're also going to complete a different assignment that's called an identity mind map. This is probably one of the most touchy-feely activities of the semester. There's not a lot of limits that I want to put on you for this. What I want you to do is to create an artistic yet detailed representation of who you are, what your identity is. I do ask that you be creative, that you use some type of visual or artistic representation to help explain who you are. There are very detailed instructions on bolts. You can find them below this video, as well as a rubric. That rubric is what I will use to grade you, so I encourage you check it out. You can go up to assessments and rubrics and find it, or it's in the assignment as well. But as long as it meets the parameters of that rubric, you can forge forward. You don't need to ask permission. You can kind of just go for it. Take some creative liberties on this assignment. I want to see that creativity in action because it's going to kind of come through in some other future assignments, specifically in the intercultural date that you have coming up in a few weeks, and then really especially in the final autoethnography that you have due at the conclusion of the semester. So take some of those creative liberties. It's okay. Take a risk. This is a type of class where you can do that. I hope you enjoy reading about identity, learning more about identity, and in the process learning more about yourself. I look forward to seeing the great work you produce this week. As always, I am here for you, so whatever you need, please send me an email, shoot me a text, give me a call. There is no question too big or too small. I'm here to help. I hope you have a fantastic week. We'll chat soon. Bye-bye.